the Central Asian Women in Tech and Science Week and Startup Mix Conference.
My name is Catriona McGill. I lead product development at a company called Desolenator. We're a small clean tech startup based out of London and the Netherlands. And our company is looking at small-scale solar-powered desalination and water purification.
Perfect. Hi everybody, I'm Dr. Monika Tomecka. I'm founder and director of Ufractionate. We are a Scotland-based company. We are a startup focusing on developing filtration technologies for microbe-based production.
Hi, I'm Saida Yusupova. I'm director and founder of Green Business Innovation Consulting Company, and I'm happy that this year my company represents ClimateLunachpad in our country. And I'm happy to greet you in Uzbekistan, at this conference.
Very happy to be here.
Yeah, and it's the first time in Uzbekistan when we're having, representative startuppers of ClimateLunachpad, and we have a special day, in fact, within the conference. For green startups, clean tech, because it's important topics.
Absolutely. So I guess it's good when you mentioned the ClimateLunachpad, we should mention that both of our companies were part of it in UK. We were participating in 2017. You guys were a little bit earlier than that, wasn't it?
We came runners-up in 2014.
Mm-hmm. So. Yeah. We were the global winners. We were top 10 winners in the global finals in 2017, and that was ClimateLunachpad. And I probably should mention as well that later on you can go for like climate accelerators as well. So Climate Kick organizes both the Launchpad and accelerators afterwards. So it's good to mention both because they are for different stages of the startups.
I think for us, we were right, it was just the very precipice of Desolenator's journey. And for us, winning that award, I think, was a real validation that someone else believed in what Lexi and William were doing, our company founders. And it was a real boost of motivation that, okay, other people also think this is important, so maybe we should actually get cracking on it and take it seriously. So for us, it was great. And allowed us to be based out of the Imperial University College Accelerator office, which gave us access to that network, which was really useful.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, it was.
For us, it's going to be the first acceleration program related to climate change. Mm-hmm. And in our country, we have a lot of issues with resources. We have like water resources, energy resources, and we have RLC area where the innovation and startups in climate change are really crucial.
Yeah.
So I hope that somehow we will be able to change the minds of the people, to build the capacity and make some investments into the young generation, the youth, so that they look into that direction, that it's a great opportunity. Like, I admire your companies, you are making money, but you're also making social good.
Absolutely. I think it's important to mention it's not only Uzbekistan, right? Yeah. Like there's so many climate problems around the world, and we're doing so much harm into our environment and into our climate and into our world, to be honest. So it's not only one sectors. We are talking, when I talk about our company and what we're doing regardless to filters and microbe-based production, I give the example how that kind of production can actually change the way we're doing stuff at the moment. So we're cutting the rainforest to produce the palm oil, or we're overfishing our oceans for the production of omega-3. All those products can actually be made in microbes such as microalgae, and that's amazing. And those opportunities are not harvested yet. Like we're having those ideas, people are innovating in this space, but I think there is like huge change coming very soon.
Yeah, for us, so we're all about desalination and drinking water. So the UN says that by 2030, half of the world is not going to have reliable access to clean drinking water. So this is a global problem, and something you in Central Asia, you guys know a lot about the kind of changing water environments due to climate change and the impacts of man-made or industry and man-made problems. So yes, it's a global problem, and it's exciting to see you guys are just at the beginnings of your journey, and hopefully you can do lots of things right.
So we're eager to learn,
exactly.
From your experience, and any fails you had, in fact, so that we don't repeat, probably.
Yeah. And that's why, for me, it's so exciting to see this emphasis on women, because I know in the UK it's a big problem that the clean tech sector, as well as many other STEM, science, technology, engineering, math sectors, are really struggling to attract women. So it's so exciting to see you guys right from the very beginning trying to get women into your sector.
So I also think, like, vice versa, it's a very great time now. We are living in the times where there's a lot of topic, like people are talking about women being in STEM and the diversity being important. So I think being a woman in STEM now is the best time ever, because you have all those conferences which are focusing on women in STEM. It didn't happen before, and probably it's not going to happen so much after when it become a norm. So I think being a founder of a STEM company, so there's a lot of topics about female founders, there's a lot of topics about females in entrepreneurship, lots of topics about females in STEM, in the STEM topics. So I think if anybody has the courage to actually do it now, it's the best time ever.
Yeah, I think so too, because you have a lot of opportunities. Why not to jump into it and attract more girls and ladies into this sector? The most interesting side, you have double degree. You're entrepreneur and also researcher.
Yes,
this is an interesting side. I mean, it was so interesting to me to learn how you moved, from one stage to another. That you decided to do this. In fact.
That's true. It kind of happened very fluently. Like, I'm very chatty, and I was always a very chatty scientist, and I loved sharing my science and sharing the results and talking about the impact of what my science can actually bring and how we can change the world with the results of the science. So I was thinking that going into actually creating the project, such a startup which will have an actual impact, it was something which came naturally to me. But then I should also mention that being a scientist and then starting your own company is just a crazy time, because suddenly you're learning everything new. You're learning everything about the finance and about running the business and about managing people, and it's a constant learning curve. So I feel now I'm a scientist because that's my training, and I'm entrepreneur by what I'm doing.
And which is why programs like ClimateLunachpad are super helpful, because if you only have that experience in one field and you're suddenly trying to do something new, having a network and mentors can be super valuable.
Yeah, and I think the network part it's a crucial thing. People don't realize how much you cannot do stuff by yourself, and how important it is to actually interact with other people. And programs like this, they just bring you in the center, and you in the room with all other people of the same mindset, so you can bounce your ideas and you can interact with them. So network, that's my message for today. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, we are doing the partnering for the first Science Startup Acceleration Program in Uzbekistan, and we also have lots of interesting things related to entrepreneur and researcher. That's why it was interesting to learn how you cope with this too, because it's difficult basically to have these two things in one person. That's why we were talking about team building, in a startup. What does it mean? That how much is that important? For specifically for scientific startups, because
Absolutely.
it has a specific focus, and it's really difficult to have all the qualities of the entrepreneur and do the research as well. So we are at the stage when we are trying to teach or somehow train our teams. How to cope with these two functions.
I could probably say something on that as well. So I think the team is an actually amazingly important part of your business. People are thinking it's all about ideas, it's all about the product which you have, it's all about how you're solving the problems. And to be honest, it's not. It's not. You have to have a correct people to do the correct job. You have to have a team where you can work with, when you can interact with each other, when you can exchange the ideas, when you can support each other. I've seen so many startups where somebody had a great idea and they started their company with their best friend, and they thought oh my god, this is my best friend, of course it will work, and it doesn't. So team is an important part of the business.